Hello and welcome to the Blue Shadow Podcast. My name is Joey,
I am Dan.
and you may notice that we have a slight difference in audio quality. We're having some technical difficulties while we're recording remotely, but that's not going to stop us from talking about Star Wars. Don't you worry. What are we doing today, Dan?
So today is another episode of our blind rankings.
Woohoo!
And just as a little refresher, the blind rankings work is Joey and I were tasked with coming up with 10 Star Wars characters, and we are going to present them to the other. The caveat is that we don't know who's coming next. So the way it works is we present a single character to the other person, we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. And once you choose that ranking, it's done. So if you put, let's say, I'm going to rank football teams because that's my. So if Joey gives me the Philadelphia
Hmm.
Eagles and I put them at number one, I can't use number one again. So it really forces us to think inward and then gamble just a little bit to see who or what is coming next.
I'm excited to do this again. Last time it was the first time we did it, and I said to Dan, "Pull your punches. I'd like to do this again a few more times." Last time I got yelled at because I chose two obscure characters that Dan felt, and I'm doing the air quotes here, nothing about. For example, Boss Nass. Who else did you hate? Boss Nass,
Snap Wexley, really.
Snap Wexley,
But I
Captain
really just,
Tarples. The Gungans bothered you.
I
But
just
don't you
forgot.
worry.
I
I've got,
was, I was trying to go with the general Star Wars, and you said, who's the guy in row three, section eight of that Super Bowl arena? I'm
I
just
don't
kidding. That's a
I don't
gross.
think the only one on there like that is probably Snap Wexley and Meeber Gascon. Anyway, I have
I
prepared
should
a
have known
list
Meaver
of.
though.
You did know Meeber, I think.
No, I as soon as I Googled, I'm like, yes, I know who it is, but I stood by my ranking.
I think that's fair. Anyway, I have prepared major characters for you now, so we don't have to complain anymore. All
I have
right?
a theme.
Oh God. All right, you ready? Dan's going to go first. I'm going to read him off these characters one at a time. He's going to rank them, and we'll do some check-ins to remind you, where we are. So my first character I have for you is Watto. Nothing like
Eight.
a stereotype in Star Wars. That is a very safe place to put Watto at number 8.
I think so.
And any thoughts on Watto? His droopy snoot's kind of weird.
Yeah, as you said, stereotypes.
So
But
bad. How about Fennec Shand, Dan?
ooh, like just Fennec Shand overall,
Yeah, Fennec Shand.
probably a five. She has really great scenes, just not a ton of her.
She
Yeah.
has a lot of potential, I think, as well. I That's one thing I wish she was in the Book of Boba Fett a little more, because she's a great
Mhm.
character in The Mandalorian, and she was great and with what she got in the Book of Boba Fett. But there's so much in Book of Boba Fett that you know there's a lot going
Yeah.
on. All right, that brings me to your third character, which is Qui-Gon Jinn.
That's rude.
I bet you wish it was Boss Nass.
I'm gonna go number three.
Number three, third on the input and output.
So I have three, five, and eight.
Yep, that is Qui-Gon Jinn at number three, Fennec Shand at number five, and Watto at number eight. How about Finn?
Ooh.
FN2187.
Hmm. Remember I talked about some gambling? This
Hmm.
is gonna be one of them.
Okay.
I'm really locking myself in here. I have to go four. I'm sure there's two at least two are gonna be better. And there's somebody who I'm gonna put at six and be like, I'm an idiot.
I'm excited about this.
Oh
This
boy.
is good. That brings me to our fifth character, which is Master Soul, my personal favorite character from the
Six.
Acolyte. Six. Wow.
You're
You
lucky you
think
didn't
he's
get seven.
you think he's flawed. I think he's perfect.
He, somebody didn't watch The Acolyte.
I watched it and I ignore the parts I don't like. Uh,
Isn't that a
just
theme?
just to recap here, we have Qui-Gon Jinn at 3, Finn at 4, Fennec Shand at 5, Master Soul somehow at 6, and Watto all the way down at 8, bringing us to Ezra Bridger.
You do have to do it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, feeling good?
No,
Little
I'm not.
check in here. That brings us to Lando Calrissian.
7.
Okay, we're gonna talk about how we might reshuffle, but that was
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Okay. My reasoning is I love Lando, but I made the mistake early of putting some people up there. He's not number one in my book, but he's definitely not number 7.
I see that, and
So,
we'll restructure completely at the end. How about Captain Rex? If you
mm,
haven't listened to our last episode of this, I highly encourage you to do it because Dan was like 8, 9, 10. I don't care about these people. This list is crafted very carefully, by the way.
it was rude.
Just a reminder, I asked Dan about Captain Rex, and his open spots are 1, 9, and 10.
9.
9! Oh my God, under Watto.
Um, it, I deserve this.
I'm having way too much fun.
I whined just a little too much last time, and this is karma. Karma is real, and I deserve this.
And this was Dan's idea, this whole show, too. I'm having a
So
blast.
I really backed myself into a corner here.
I think you're going to feel, I think this is going to shake out okay with the 2 you have left. Just a reminder, at 2, we have Ezra Bridger, 3, Qui-Gon Jinn, 4, Finn, 5, Fennec Shand, 6, Master Soul, 7, Lando Calrissian, 8, Watto, 9, Captain Rex, and that brings us to our 9th character mentioned, and that's Jabba the Hutt.
And
I thought that might be easier for you. And you'll see that I kind
love
of threw you a bone
you did.
because the last character is Padme Amidala.
Yeah, she's a worthy one.
Not one that maybe you would have put there, but maybe one that deserves it regardless.
Yes, influential character,
Yes.
super impactful.
All
We
right.
all
So
love Padme.
we do all love Padme, and I would love to see more Padme in pretty much anything. Let's recap this list, and then Dan can tell us how he might have restructured it if he were ranking it organically. That's number 1, Padme Amidala. 2, Ezra Bridger. 3, Qui-Gon Jinn. 4, Finn. 5, Fennec Shand. 6, Master Saul. 7, Lando Calrissian. 8, Watto. 9, Captain Rex. 10, Jabba the Hutt.
Okay, so do you want me to start? I'll go bottom to top.
Okay.
10 stays with Jabba.
Okay.
9 is Watto,
Yeah.
and then
Wow.
this is where
Really? I thought Jabba would be up there for you, Return of the Jedi guy.
I love Return of the Jedi. What has he said?
Oh, Jabba.
That was pretty good.
That's
Should
all I got for
cosplay.
you. And I lost a little weight.
Um, that's not a bad thing. Um,
Reminder,
okay,
you have Padme, Ezra, Qui-Gon, Finn, Fennec, Master Soul, Lando, and Captain Rex.
okay. Fennec would be 8.
A fair ranking, but sad because it is a good character.
Now this is where you're gonna get mad.
Go ahead, say
Soul
it.
at 7.
Boo.
Relax. Soul at 7. Maybe Lando at 6.
Fair.
Now, just to reiterate who I have left, I have Finn, Qui-Gon, Ezra, Padme, and Captain Rex.
Yes.
Um, 5, unfortunately, will have to be Padme.
I think it's fair.
4 is going to remain Finn.
Okay.
Three,
You got a
don't get
strong
angry.
top 3 here.
3 is Ezra.
Boo.
I
Okay.
know. I'm horrible. 2 is Rex. 1 is Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon at number 1. Want to elaborate on that before we switch over to me?
Rex and Qui-Gon are very interchangeable. Qui-Gon, I loved Phantom Menace growing up. I thought Darth Maul was just the coolest. I thought Qui-Gon was just so wise and really, at the time, embodied what the Jedi were
I still think
to
that
me.
holds true. I still think that holds true.
Because, like, well, Luke's was a Jedi, but not really in the sense that he wasn't in the Jedi Order, the traditional Jedi Order. At this point in time, we didn't get to see Yoda where we know he is, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So he was really the first time it's like the wise, the peacekeeper of this is what you should do. Sometimes it's hard. You have to do the right thing, even though it's hard.
It kind of like mirrors, like in the Acolyte, we've drawn comparisons, and even the actors have between Qui-Gon and Master Soul, and it's almost like they're two sides of the same coin. Where like Qui-Gon skewed is to make the right decisions, where Soul kind of makes the wrong decisions. So I think that's totally an excellent perspective on that.
Thank you.
All right, now you have to promise to not change any of your orders because you're mad at me.
Never.
All
I
right.
it's my own fault. I had some cheese with my wine.
I'm telling you, I did this pretty quickly, but I was like, you know what? He wants main characters. I'll give him main characters.
Yeah.
I had to, at the
Turn.
end, I was like, I have to put Padme or someone, decent at the end.
Yeah.
All right, my turn.
It is your turn.
Woohoo!
So there is a theme, which
What's
you'll probably pick up on pretty quickly.
okay?
So we're just gonna jump right into it.
All right.
First character, Crosshair.
Oh, if you asked me this before the last season, I would have put him at 10. If you ask me now, I'm gonna put him at 3.
Ooh, Crosshair at 3. I'll be nice. I'll give you an easy one right now.
Okay.
Admiral Rampart.
Are we going for the comedy value or the actual good character value?
Whatever you desire.
I'm gonna put him at number 8.
Okay.
I think I like this theme that I'm sensing.
I think you will. Okay.
It's gonna be like male Star Wars characters, and then it's gonna be like Obi-Wan is the last one.
Go.
What'd you say?
Echo.
Eck? Oh, 4.
I go at 4.
He wasn't in the show enough.
Okay, so just we're gonna check back in. Right now, Joey has Crosshair at 3, Echo at 4, and Admiral Rampart at 8. I think
That
that's
I
pretty
do.
solid so far.
I don't know who else is. I might know who else is coming, and I'm pretty confident. I think I might have shoehorned myself in here a little though.
We'll see.
All right.
Captain Hauser.
You know I love Hauser, Dan. This is rude. This is rude. I'm gonna put him at 7, but I think this is gonna hurt me.
We'll see. I don't know.
I always feel better that we get to fix it at the end. So we're gonna put Captain
Yes.
Hauser at 7 currently.
Okay. Ooh. Sid.
10.
Yeah, I know. I
The
almost
the worst part about Sid is that we didn't see a gruesome on-screen death for her.
bold words from a normally cheery person.
I really am, and I really hate that character. The only character I hate. I'm gonna leave it, but if you do it, I'm gonna be mad at you. Go ahead.
Do what?
I hate Saw Gerrera more than I hate Sid.
I will throw you a bone. He's not on here. He was on
Okay,
there
good.
last time. I'm pretty
Then we're
sure.
leaving. I think he was. Let's double check while we're just hanging out here. Um,
Okay. So while you look that up, I'm just
he was
gonna
not. He was
read.
not.
He
So
was not, but we definitely talked about him enough.
he's fair game. All right. Anyway,
So just to reiterate where we're at, Joey has Crosshair at 3, Echo at 4, Captain Hauser at 7, Admiral Rampart at 8, and Sid at 9.
Right. Sit at 10.
10, excuse me.
Oh
Woo.
my God, right where she
Did it.
deserves to be. She deserves to be 11.
Okay. Well, next time we can change the rules. So have you picked up the theme yet?
It's got to be the Bad Batch.
It is the Bad Batch.
A wonderful
So,
show that I'm happy to continue talking about.
yeah. So right now, just so you're aware, you have 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9 left.
It's a
So
nice
you have
spread.
some heavy hitter spots up there.
And I have some heavy hitter characters left. It's just a matter of whether you chose them or not.
I think I chose some.
Okay.
Okay. Let's jump right into it. Wrecker.
This is one where if you don't put the whole main cast in, he deserves to be towards the top. But I think I'm going to put him at 5.
Solid answer.
You
Okay,
know,
this might be one of your.
go ahead.
Hmm?
No, you go
No, go
ahead.
ahead.
I was going to say Wrecker
Let's,
for me. I love Wrecker, but he's like, there were other members of the Bad Batch that I like more. So I'm hopefully reserving spot for them.
fair enough.
All right.
So we have, if you listened to us early on, one of our first recurring segments was Tech Watch, where Joey believed Tech was CX2.
Or
I
just
said,
alive in general.
I said that is not correct. And
Mhm.
spoiler alert, you should watch it. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but Tech.
Number 1, Tech, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You're gonna put Kanan in there, and it's gonna make me angry. I'll leave Tech at
No,
number
he's not.
1. I
He's
loved it.
not on my list.
Stop giving. Don't give me the clues. It'll affect me. But yes, Tech 1. Tech is my favorite member of the Bad Batch. I was so sad about what happened and everything, but I love this character. I think he does such a great job of, like, he's kind of like not necessarily like socially all there. And I think it
Hmm.
allowed for some great growth moments between him and Omega that were like my personal favorite aspect of him. And he's really
Yes,
funny.
he is. And speaking of Omega, Omega.
2. Oh, oh man, 2. Definitely. Omega.
Okay,
I'm left with 6 and 9.
you are left with 6 and 9, and I think you're going to hate me. So
Uh,
we're just going to reiterate before we go on. So you have 1 through 5 filled
mhm.
with Tech, Omega, Crosshair, Echo, and Wrecker. 6 is open. 7 is Hauser. 8 is Rampart, and -30 is Sid.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm going to say it. You can yell at me, and then we can discuss. Hera Syndulla.
Ah, I knew. See, I thought it was going to be Kanan, but it's Hera. She's going at 6 because of my love for her. If we are talking about in the context of the Bad Batch, I think that's fair because
Yeah,
she's one episode
absolutely.
appearance. But if we're going in terms of overall Star Wars character wonderfulness, Hera's up there for me. But
Yeah.
if we're sticking to, I guess that's kind of a question I'm going to ask you that leading into the last pick and then the restructuring. Are we doing this from the perspective of the Bad Batch series?
I haven't even thought that far.
Well,
I really just thought of instant reaction as soon as you hear the name.
okay. So
So
then we'll
based
just
based
go ahead.
yeah, I really tried to structure it as you don't think, you really don't get a chance to think.
Okay.
It's more of just boom.
So it's just Star Wars characters, not necessarily in the show. All right. Fire away with my
Yes.
last one and then we'll restructure.
Your last one, Hunter.
That puts him at number 9 in between Rampart and Sid.
It does.
Oh, man,
So
Dan.
we are going to, that was a great list.
It was.
I love the Bad Batch, so that's why I did it. So we're gonna go through, I'm gonna read your rankings and then we can go through your redo rankings. So at number 1, you have Tech, 2, Omega, 3, Crosshair, 4 is Echo, 5 is Wrecker, 6 is Hera Syndulla, 7 is Captain Hauser, 8 is Admiral Rampart, 9 is Hunter, and -1,000 is Sid.
I love it. I'm honestly not too mad There are a few things that I would potentially have wished were a little different, but I stand by Tech being towards the top, Omega and Crosshair as well. I'm sad that Hunter's toward the bottom. But let's do a restructuring, and I'll go from the top to the bottom this time. So number one,
Okay,
just first instinct Star Wars character Hera Syndulla, for sure.
perfect. Yeah.
You're probably not surprised that the Star Wars Rebels character is number one.
No, I had to do it for you.
I appreciate it. It gives me the opportunity to talk about Rebels, something that I normally inadvertently do on every episode of our podcast.
So, just a little personal detail of our lives for our viewers. Um, Joey has this thing called surprise fruit, where fruit's a surprise doesn't end well.
You know, if it's like
I'll say
in a cupcake and you bite into it and it's like, oh, there it is.
yes, and to follow that sound up, I'm going to talk about Surprise Rebels. Surprise Rebels is a segment of Blue Shadow podcast that happens every time where we get a Rebels mention and discussion. So I'm happy that we got to have Surprise Rebels today.
If it's not Rise of Skywalker, it's Rebels for certain.
And it deserves it because Rebels is fantastic.
Not too long, it is. And not too long ago, I sent Dan a meme and it was like, I'm not sorry about saying, or what did it say? Something like, I'm sorry for how much you talk about Rebels, but actually I'm not. That is me.
Yeah, something.
So anyway, my Rebels love aside, we got Hera at number one. I think I got to go Tech at two.
Hmm.
I'm standing by Omega at three.
You mean, are we just shifting her down because she was at two?
Yes, Hera's bumping them down. So we've got
Okay.
Hera, Tech, Omega. This is where I'm gonna do Hunter,
Interesting.
then Wrecker.
Okay, Wrecker stays at five.
Yep. Then we got Echo. At seven, we have
Okay.
Hauser. Eight,
Okay.
we're gonna do. Who do I have left?
Crosshair, Sid, and
Oh
Rampart.
no, I mischaracterized Crosshair. I missed Crosshair on my list. We're gonna revamp number.
Okay, so you,
I'll do it. I got it.
okay.
I got them written down. We got number one Hera, two Tech, three Omega, four Crosshair. So sorry about that, everyone. Then we've got at five Hunter, six Wrecker, seven Echo, eight Hauser. I knew something was wrong. And then that brings us to Rampart at nine, followed by Sid at negative infinity this time.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, we had to take it to the max to wrap it up. What do you think of
Yes,
my real list?
that makes sense. That, that's a Joey list.
The Crosshair, I really Crosshair is the biggest like like the delta between my initial
Yeah.
feelings of him and
Hmm.
when by the time the series was over. I just that last season really took him to levels I never ever would have guessed.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anything else to add, Dan?
No, it's a good list.
It is a good list. I look forward to doing this again, and I think you're probably going to be a little more gruesome with me next time because of how mean I was.
Yes, and going forward, just so it's between us and everybody listening, first reaction
First
when you
reaction.
hear the name, don't. The Bad Batch theme was just that, a theme, not rank them in the Bad Batch. Just hear the
Okay,
people.
cool. I like the idea of a theme. I thought that was pretty fun.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else to add, Dan?
No, stay tuned for. I'm sure we'll be doing this again in the near future.
Whatever nonsense we feel up to. All right. Well, thank
Yes.
you
And
so
if you
much.
guys have suggestions on a theme for us to do, let us know.
Absolutely. Or if you vehemently disagree with our lists, either the locked in ones or the reorganized ones, please let us know. But with
Yes.
that, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.